You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Lead-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today we are here with Molly Chinnock, the CEO of Sit Pretty Social, also founder of Molly Tries, influencer, soon to be the host of Winfluence podcast, single mother, and let's not forget, former assistant DA. I'm sorry, Molly, I am literally laughing about this too because you have done so many different things. So we need to find out more about you because inquiring minds want to know, like myself.
Oh my gosh. Well, in your intro, you mentioned incredible turns, and my life has been just one incredible right turn, left turn. I've been kind of all over the place, although all roads lead to Rome, right? So I feel like I'm a product of all of these crazy, job opportunities I've had. And so basically I'm from Georgia, went to University of Georgia. And when I graduated from college, I had a suitcase and $500 to my name. And I hopped on a plane and I moved to San Diego. And I've been here ever since. So when I moved out here, I didn't know anyone.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
You just came out here blind saying it's beautiful in San Diego. I'm coming here.
Yes. And I slept on the couch of one of my sorority sister's ex-boyfriends for like 2 weeks and then finally found a place and had to get to work immediately. And I worked at a kiosk in Mission Valley Mall. And I was so miserable. And so, my thought was, well, since I have no clue what to do with my life, I'll just go back to school. So I ended up in law school. And I finished in 2 years and was on the trial team and got lucky enough to be picked up by the DA's office in downtown San Diego. I had a wonderful experience working there, but I realized that in order to do criminal law, you have to be extremely passionate about criminal law. And so I was surrounded by all of these people who were just amazing. Meanwhile, I just wanted to throw parties for all of the clerks on their birthdays. That's all I cared about. And so that's when I realized, okay, if I continue down this path, it's going to be even more difficult for me to make another one of those turns, which is what my intuition was telling me. So I wasn't a DA for very long, assistant DA, as you said, but I made a lot of great friends and learned a lot.
I want to go back to your, I got here, I didn't know what I want to do. So, I think I'll go back to school. Sorry, that is hilarious in itself.
It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea because let me tell you, I have law school loans that are like the cost of a small mortgage. So I'm still, having to pay for that. But I loved school. I loved learning. I loved the Socratic method of learning. So I loved law school. And I actually really did enjoy being a lawyer. But I just knew in my heart, that was not my path.
So then what?
Okay, so I was getting married at the time. So I met my now ex-husband when I was in law school. He is a corporate lawyer. And so he agreed that I could leave because he could support us. And we ended up starting a blog called Playable Hours. It was a play off of the word billable hours.
Right.
And it was for busy professionals who didn't have time to go out and kind of vet where they would go on date night or whatever. So we would go vet all of these restaurants and bars or where live music was playing or, wineries. And we would, we had a blog. And this is right when I'm always on point with timing when I start things. I just don't, until now, haven't had any follow through. So if I had kept this blog, it was right when everybody was starting blogs, I know it would be a massive success right now. But I ended up getting pregnant with my kids. It's kind of hard to go check out wineries when you're sick in bed for basically 4 years. And so that's when that kind of fizzled out. And we were both pretty bummed about that because we really enjoyed writing the blog together. And then then I started a nutrition company after that. So it's been weird.
Just kind of go boom, one place to the next. So
yeah.
So let's just go back.
Okay.
Let's talk about Molly as a little girl.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I grew up in a very small town.
Okay.
Called Helen, Georgia.
Okay.
And I'm talking 2 red lights at the time, 2 counties, 2 red lights. 1 county, 2 cities, 2 red lights, very, very small. It was beautiful. And I was always ambitious. I was like president of student council, voted most involved, like Miss White County High School. And that wasn't like a beauty thing. That was just if you're very involved, like that you get that title or whatever.
Yep.
And so every year of my life, like I rose to the top, but I always felt like I had a path. And now skipping ahead to life after divorce, it's very murky. It's really hard to like have a path, and you kind of are like, you look back at your childhood and you think, oh, I always rose to the top. I always knew what my next step was. And now I'm in a completely different position.
Well, there's a lot of identity crisis, I think, from a divorce.
Oh my goodness.
Thinking, shoot, I failed at something, and I'm divorced also. So
okay, how long have you been divorced for?
It's been 4.5 years.
Me too.
Yeah,
4 years. Yeah, I'm going on my 5th year.
Yeah.
Last year of that spousal support for me. So it's gonna be
I was married
interesting.
for 24 years.
Oh,
but that's
okay.
another story.
I was married for exactly 10. That didn't go off so well. So
and you have 2 kids?
I have 2 kids. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
How old are they?
So my son is going to be 12 next month, and my daughter is going to be 10 this Saturday.
My daughter's 22 and my son's 26.
You don't look old enough to have kids that age.
I'm 55.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 55.
You look
I wasn't
great.
even young when I had my son. I was 29, which, my mom had kids at 19. So.
Oh, of course. And back in Georgia, like I love everyone in Georgia, but all of my friends got married very young. And so I actually expected, I was like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to get married much later in life, have kids much later in life. And, then life happens. So
Right. So tell me a little bit about a word.
Okay.
Well, just choose a word, and you might have already thought about this. A word that describes who you are.
A word that describes
One word.
who I am.
Yes.
I'm going to say approachable. And I know one word, but I want to put the words approachable and relatable together. Because I think that people have been watching my journey, and I know we'll get into what that is here in a little bit, but I think that people can watch me and they can identify with what I'm doing, and that just brings so much joy to my heart that I can express things in a way that aren't, a lot of people in social media today they try to do things to like get attention, like that's their MO. Whereas I just kind of live my life, but I live it so authentically that people can really relate to it. So we'll go with relatable.
Well, and relatable is a good thing because then everyone can put themselves in your shoes and say, yeah, that's me.
Exactly.
Maybe I can try that. I think it gives them some hope in this very, very difficult time, I think, more than ever. So tell me a little bit about the whole social media thing. What brought you to that?
Okay, so that was all because of my divorce.
Okay.
So it was very important to me when I got divorced to, when you get divorced, there's a lot around finances. And my whole thing was, I'm like, I don't want anyone supporting me. I'm going to figure this out. I want to make money on my own. And I hadn't been making money for a while. It was like I was a stay-at-home mom and then I wasn't, and then I was a stay-at-home mom and then I wasn't. So that was kind of like murky. But I got divorced, and I was really lucky because my best friend Alice out of Atlanta worked for an up-and-coming entertainment tech company, because there's a lot of entertainment tech happening in Atlanta now. And she said, well, you got to go out and find a job anyways. Why don't we make a web series out of it?
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, it's linked in my profile right now. It's called Molly Tries. That's why the Molly Tries Instagram handle. And it was a web series. It was scripted. I wrote it, and they did all the production around it. And it's where I would go try these different jobs, like being a barista or a golf professional or a hairstylist or a spin instructor. And all of it's a comedy. And basically I would go in, I would come in with so much enthusiasm and all of these business ideas, but the business ideas were absolutely terrible. But I was so adorable and funny that people loved me anyways. I never got the job, so I was on to the next, trying the next thing. But All's Well That Ends Well, kind of a web series.
Right.
And they paid me to do it. And it was great because I was like, oh my gosh, I can get, I'm fitting into my passion pocket. I'm getting paid to do what I love to do. And it was just the best time of my life. So as part of my agreement with them, because they were a content company, they were a platform for content creators. And we all know we're consuming content left and right with, Netflix and all these, different places. They wanted me to build an audience and bring over an audience to their platform. So as part of the agreement, I had to reach a specific amount of followers. And I had I was I was 37, I'm 40 now. I had no clue how to do that. So I just hustled. And I was on, specifically Instagram is really the main place I'm at. I reached out to everyone and anyone, and I was posting life after divorce because I wanted, again, to be relatable and I wanted to talk about that journey. And so I ended up growing to 15,000 people in 7 months, which this is after you could pay. You can't pay for followers at this point.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I really have something here. That company ended up, I'm not even sure where they're at or what they're doing at this point, but I had a podcast with them where I talked about my dating journey. And then, oh yeah. Oh no, it was great. And I would interview other people just about their different experiences with relationships after, a certain age or after divorce. Very, very fascinating. And then since I had grown a community, I started having businesses reach out to me about doing influencer marketing. And that's where I'm at now. And my passion right now is helping local business. Now I do work with some national businesses, but really helping local business because I know that marketing dollars are so precious.
Yeah.
And it sometimes feels like it's throwing noodles at a wall. So I work very hard for them to bring in clients through my storylines on Instagram.
So tell us a little bit about maybe just choose one local business that you are representing and what that looks like.
Okay, so an example right now is I work with this awesome company called SmartFace. They do
I know them, actually.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, Kim,
I'm a customer, believe it or not.
That is crazy. I just got my lashes lifted and tinted. And my boyfriend is cannot stop staring into my eyes, which is very sweet. So she's just this incredible entrepreneurial woman, in Del Mar. She has this business and she even created her own skincare line. That's not easy to do.
Right.
And just her passion around her business with the facials and everything that an esthetician would do. I just want to support her, and so we've been working together for a little bit now. And that's just an example. I mean, there's a bunch of local businesses that I've worked with. Weirdly, I've gotten into more of the beauty industry. I'm not totally sure why that resonates with people, but, anywhere from non-toxic spray tans. And then I've got the paint nail bar. So Bronze Bums does the non-toxic spray tans. I love Candace, the owner of that. Paint nail bar that's all vegan-friendly nail polish and non-toxic. So there's a lot of beauty stuff. And actually right now, because opening day, I don't know when podcast will come out, but opening day of the races is on Friday.
Oh, wow.
So I've put together a whole menu of here's all, I've done the footwork for you guys. Here's my selections. And then so my audience can just go because they know I've already vetted out these companies, but also I'm helping these companies. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Sure. Yeah. And local businesses often employ your workforce locally. And you've got these people that are growing their businesses. I love it when businesses are growing too, and I have to move into more space because now I've outgrown my old space, and that's cool because you're putting money into the local economy, you're employing people, but then you're also doing something good, and it's not a big corporation.
Agree, and I have worked for national companies before, and that's been really fun just because that gives me kind of more notoriety, if you will.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm super passionate about. I met with a new restaurant owner on Sunday, and they're opening this restaurant, and they've got an outdoor patio, right? And I'm like, listen, people are going to come into restaurants where they see other people are eating and enjoying their time at. I'm like, you got to fill that outdoor patio. Like, let's fill it up for you. So my opinion, the best way to do that is through these micro or nano influencers, which I always consider that to be like, micro is like 10,000, nano is 5,000 or under. But get these people who are on Instagram who are already showcasing the things they're doing around town. And if you really think about the first influencer, it's that mom in the suburbs that everyone goes to. Like, where did you get your baby stroller? Who's your interior designer, right?
Right.
So you can find people on social media that are going to do things for trade that don't even know they're influencers. And you get them out, you give them a couple free cocktails or a free appetizer or whatever. I mean, that's just a marketing expense. Right. And you're making them feel good because now they feel like an influencer. But it's not easy. It's hard to find those people. Mm-hmm. And local businesses really are just kind of jumping on the bandwagon of these micro nano influencers because I've seen a lot of them get burned by macro influencers, like big time. I had a company that I used to do social media marketing for, and they owned they produced luxury handbags. And I know they had paid, I think, $3,000 to an influencer that had a following of like 500,000, and they saw no return on their investment, and they get burned. So then they think, oh, well, the influencer marketing isn't working. So it's tough. Like I'm really trying. That's what Winfluence is going to be about. It's me helping people to understand how they can leverage their influence while also helping small businesses understand how to work with influencers.
So do you actually help find the micro and nano influencers?
That's the hard part. So what I did on my Instagram is I did a 30-day deep dive I created a separate Instagram page for people who wanted to learn how to become an influencer. And they had to have 1,000 followers, and they had to be local in San Diego to be a part of it. And I just kind of found that I was like teaching all of the strategies that I use. Now, here's the problem. Can they do it as well as me? I don't know. I find that I have to talk about something so approachably. Is that a word? Approachably.
It could be a Mollyism.
Yeah, we'll do a Mollyism. That's my new word. But they have to make it so approachable. They need to talk about it. I tell my businesses, I'm like, I have to talk about your product minimum 3 times before people are going to pull the trigger.
Right.
Which means I'm going to have to keep coming back. I'm going to have to interact with you. People want to know the faces behind the scenes. So I turn all of my people into like characters, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes since you can't see me. I turn them into characters on my stories. And I really try to make my Instagram stories. So if you see my page, you don't see a ton of stuff on my feed, or I don't really post new pictures because I'm not, my captions are pretty funny, but I'm not a picture person. I'm more of like a storyteller. So I'm like, when you tell a story, you have to have a beginning. Like, what's the context? Then you have to tell the story. Then you've got to mix the media, like maybe a boomerang in with a video, in with a picture. Then you've got to have a twist, right? Because you got to keep people entertained so they're not moving to the next person's story. Then a climax, and then a conclusion. So there's a lot of nuances that go into keeping people's attention and convincing people to purchase the product or service. So right now, would I love to be in a position where I can just go name like 10 influencers that I think would be good for a restaurant? At this point, I can't because I just don't think people can do it as well as I can right now.
Right.
But would I love to get to a place where I'm bridging that gap and I am finding those people for local businesses? Absolutely, because I think it's hands down the best type of marketing. And I know from owning my own company for 6 years that marketing is elusive and it can make or break your company.
Well, and you want to get the best bang for your buck. You don't want to go out and spend $3,000 and you've got zero return on it.
Oh,
obviously.
Exactly. And here's a funny story for you, just so you know how, okay, so my Instagram stories are not wild. Like I'm not attention seeking in my stories, but they're hysterical and weird stuff happens. For instance, I rep Understory Bar. Have you ever been to Skydeck?
Yes.
In Carmel Valley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Understory is that beautiful bar that's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always harassing the manager, Chance. Like I'm always chasing him around and doing funny things. Well, my boyfriend and my intern, who's my boyfriend's 36. He just turned 36 yesterday, but my intern's 23. They went to Understory and they decided to get Understory tattoos. Like real tattoos on their wrists. And so I'm on my Instagram going, it's a little tree. It's pretty cool. It's very symbolic.
That's
it's
funny.
neat. But so I got on my Instagram stories immediately and I'm like, you guys, we're about to see regret in real time. And so that's the kind of funny stuff that happens. And I like, if I see something ironic that's in the moment, like I'm posting about it. But that's the kind of craziness you get when you get Molly tries. So,
Molly, you just try everything, don't you?
I do. And sometimes I fail and sometimes I succeed. But I tell my following, I'm like, you guys, you don't want me sleeping in your guest bedrooms or your casitas, because if you guys don't help me out trying to become a 40-year-old, wannabe influencer, then I'm going to have to live in your guest room. Like that's where
hilarious.
We're at right now. So they help me out and I help them out.
So what have you actually failed at?
Oh my gosh, I fail at everything. Let's see. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't. I guess I put that out there as more of a joke. I don't think I've actually failed at anything. I mean, we can look at like our marriages and be like, we failed at that, but I just kind of feel like it's a new season of life.
Yeah, that takes two people anyway.
Yeah.
You can't really blame that on one.
I know. And then, and I'm like, oh, I've got my amazing kids from that. And now I get to go and experience like new relationships.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I don't really look at my marriage as a failure. I mean, yes, it ended and it, but I really look at it. Yeah, I have two beautiful kids and it was a learning lesson.
Yeah.
It was a learning lesson. And,
yeah, absolutely.
So, when you look at balancing things as a mom, I don't know, how many hours a day do you work and how do you fit it all in?
Yeah, so people don't know how much work it goes into being an influencer.
Yeah.
Because we hear all the 20-year-olds being, I want to be an influencer. I'm going to be a fashion influencer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It takes a lot of work. You have to be very creative. You have to make sure you're getting content. Like I'm so nervous to do this tequila content because I'm like, Guy Fieri, like Sammy Hagar, like this has to be good. It has to be creative. They've got to love me. I can't just sit there and like sip on a tequila and say, oh, okay, this tastes good. So I got to rope my boyfriend in. He's amazing. He's on all my Instagram stuff. We're going to go do like a Top Chef. Like we've got 5 minutes to go get all the cocktail stuff. We're running around Trader Joe's. I'm picking out so these are all storylines that I come up with, right? So it's like kind of scripted, although most of the stuff is like my real life. So my whole plan is to go find like random ingredients, put it together. Nothing works. He's actually following a recipe. His cocktail is going to be amazing and taste great because he's actually really good at like cooking and putting ingredients together. And then at the end, my plan is to be like, oh, I'm just going to sip this tequila because it tastes incredible on its own. Obviously, I have failed yet again trying to, make a cocktail. So you've got to really put thought into it and get creative and then get content. And getting content takes a lot of time.
It's honestly like writing a commercial.
It absolutely is.
When I think about just content, I'm thinking, oh yeah, just throw up a picture and write a little catchy something or other. And it's not that. It's something so much more than that. It's a true story.
Yes.
And it is, and it takes the amount of time as writing a small commercial of some sort.
I always say my Instagram stories are like my reality show. I put thought into it. But it's like, and then when I'm pitching companies, those are kind of like my commercials, right? So, again, we're consuming content on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. Right. Like, this is just another platform like that. So, but yeah, it takes a lot of work. But I will tell you, here's been the hardest thing about my divorce is my ex-husband's a corporate attorney, right? He's general counsel for a company. And so his mindset is very much like, work, not even 9 to 5. Like he works all the time.
Yeah.
So now here I am with the flexibility. And so I have to it's like I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Because I've got the flexibility, I now bear the burden of having to go do all of these things, even though I'm working. And like your mind being the CEO of a company, even when you're off, you're never off. You're always thinking about it.
Yeah, always thinking. Yeah. Strategizing and thinking.
And I think that's hard for women in general, don't you think?
Yes,
being the mom and being the businesswoman.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure anyone has that balance down.
Pretty sure no one does. Although you might have moments where you go, yeah, I'm doing really well right now. But then the next moment you're like, oh no,
Right.
I'm failing so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very complicated. So who do you look to help you influence in how you do what you're doing?
Nobody.
Yeah,
Because
so
there's
you're
not
kind of
really
paving a different way.
Yeah, there's not really a wheelhouse for it. Now, I used to follow, and I mean, I still do. I love listening to podcasts. So like yours is fantastic. I've been listening to that to try to like catch up with everything. But the Skinny Confidential, actually, she's Lauren Everts. She's from San Diego. She's really been in hustle mode ever since she was in her 20s, like early 20s, doing the influencer thing. And now she's got product and stuff that she pitches and Dear Media, her husband, and her own. Like, but there really isn't a wheelhouse. I'm kind of just doing it and seeing what people like. And I'm very involved with my community. I meet anyone who wants to meet me. I respond to every single message, and I can get like 50, 70 messages in a day. If you look at my page, I have responded to every single comment, even if it's just an emoji comment. So that part of building community is really important to me.
That's exhausting.
It's but it's like, when you love, like I love building community, and maybe it's narcissistic of me a little bit. I don't know. I like the attention, but I also like, there's so many people who are going through divorce or they're in their 40s. I have so many people who want to start these side hustles, and they come to me and they're like, I know nothing about social media. It's very overwhelming. Like we were talking about, it feels like a second job.
Right.
When that's not your main thing.
Right.
And so I want to help those people too, but you got to really love it because it takes a lot of time.
A lot of time, a lot of effort. And, you mentioned that you haven't had any negative comments, which is great.
It's crazy.
I think part of it is, and I don't really want to make it seem menial, however, you're pouring out sunshine. You're putting out positivity. There's really nothing negative that could be said, I guess, probably from what you're putting out there. I would say that it's a pretty different career path than many, and you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
you're promoting things, and you're actually making money.
Yes, I have a whole media kit. Like that's a whole part of it. So there's a real professional way to kind of go about that part.
And so this is kicking off where people can actually get this information. How do they find that?
So it's usually businesses just messaging me, and then I'll grab an email, and then I'll email. I have a Molly at mollykatries.com, like is my email address.
Okay.
And then I shoot them my media kit, and then we strategize over the phone, and we figure out what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So there's a very professional aspect to it. And I will tell you too, people feel like this influencer thing is very oversaturated because that's all we hear about, and it's kind of laughable in a lot of ways. But I've done a lot of research. I have a lot of access to information from Instagram that people don't necessarily have access to by virtue of my following, by virtue of the amount of engagement that I get. And they are going to be rolling out. So Facebook, or Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, they are investing by the end of 2022, $2.2 billion into content creators. So right now, if you have a level of engagement and a level of following, they're paying out bonuses, just straight up cash. They're paying people for reels, which I absolutely hate doing more than anything in the world. I'm very unpolished and off the cuff, but that's fine. I'm in hustle mode. I got to do what I got to do. And they're going to be making it so much easier for people who want to be influencers. Like if you have some sort of niche and you have some sort of message, to create a page where you are listing off the brands you're already talking about, and they can be really big brands. And now, by virtue of you listing them on your favorite brands page, it's connecting you to these bigger brands in a much different way than trying to slide into their DMs, if you will.
Yeah.
So then they're able to put together a micro-influencer strategy from people who already love their brands and are talking about them. They're rolling out a subscription model so people can just pay for exclusive content. I have no clue what that would look like for me because I can't think of anything that I don't put out there already.
Right.
But it's not going anywhere. So I feel like for me, it's right time, right place. Kind of like with the blog that I started.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm always like right there, the right time, right place. But this is something I'm going to see through because, like I said, I feel like I'm really fitting into my passion pocket.
So back to thinking, okay, you're going to walk into a room of young women.
Yeah.
You have learned lessons. You have learned a lot. And what are some of those lessons you would want to share with them for them to apply in their lives?
I think that you don't have to know. You don't have to absolutely 100% know what you want to do. Like, people are always like, oh, follow your passion, follow your passion. I had no clue what my passion was. So then I felt like a total loser. I'm like, I don't know, but I just tried being a prosecutor.
Try
and
a million things.
I
Yep.
tried so many things,
Right.
and that's fine. That doesn't mean, again, that you failed. I would also tell them that there's a lot of time to figure it out. They don't have to be in a rush. And to really try to, even if you're not totally sure, work on building that community. Because then when you do know, you've already, like, having a community locked and loaded is key. Because now you've got somebody to sell to when it's the right time to pull the trigger and actually start making money and monetizing that community.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Molly. This time was very informative and interesting, and I am excited to watch what you do next. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think we'll find a way to put fun in anything you do.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm about to go get stories up right now. And my boyfriend's name is Polo. I have nicknames for all the guys that I've dated on my Instagram. I think this one's a real keeper, so we'll see. And we've just been going out and having a lot of fun. So the stories are interesting. I'm excited. It was great to be here with you today because I am launching Winfluence. So I'll be talking more about how people can become influencers, how small businesses can work with local influencers. And I think that's going to be a really interesting dialogue, and I hope it helps a lot of people. And I'm learning a lot from you today, so that's perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great to meet you, and
Yeah.
thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.